Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. This is going to be a long video today, and I'm letting you guys know ahead of time in case you want to go grab a drink or a snack or anything. And that is because I will be going over every single series that I'm in the middle of, a little bit about them, and then whether I plan to continue them or not. We've got 77 series to talk about. Yes, you heard that right, 77. I'm a chronic series starter, but I'm also a terrible finisher. And like those two, they don't work really well together. The thing is, I'm a massive mood reader, so by the time I'm finishing a book, I'm already ready to switch like genres or themes. And I plan on going back and continuing them, but sometimes I just completely forget about them, or I'm just like not in the mood at the time to continue them, which is exactly why I created this little spreadsheet here. Why I created that like little video series on my channel where I'm going through and continuing book series, and I try to do that like once a month. And I pretty much am in each of those videos picking 3 to 4 book series I'm in the middle of and just working on completing them. I have been slacking a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't do one last month, so I need to get back on that. I did realize as I was doing that little video series on my channel that I've never actually sat down with you guys and discussed all of the series I'm in the middle of and if I plan on continuing them or not, and like why if I'm not planning on continuing them. I probably did actually when I first started my channel, but that was like over a year ago at this point, and I probably had like 20 series at the time, and now I have like 70 something, so I think we're due for a video like this. Sorry, I know this intro is really long, but I have a couple more things to say and then we'll jump in. I feel like there's just a lot of prereqs before I can get into the actual video. One of them being that it is very important to note that I am constantly changing my mind. Like every week, I'm constantly changing my mind. So if I sit here in this video and I say I do not plan on continuing this series, and then you see me reading it in the future, I have FOMO, and like sometimes a book will come out and everybody will be hyped up about it, or something just sounds really interesting in that book, and then I'm like, well, now I kind of want to read it, so I might like give it another chance. Like these are not like solid set in stone where if I say I'm not going to continue, or if I am going to continue, that it's like set in stone like that. Because same thing with like if I say I'm gonna continue a series, 2 months from now I might just have like outgrown that series and like be over it and just be like, I don't really want to continue it anymore. So on both ends of the spectrum there, I constantly will change my mind probably. So don't take what I say to heart, or don't get offended if I'm not continuing a series that you love. And just to clarify, about 15 of these book series on this little spreadsheet, they're technically like currently done for me. Like I am caught up on them, but I'm waiting for the next book in the series to come out. So I am including them in this video because they are still an open series, like books are still getting published in the series. So I still wanted to discuss them and go over them with you guys. But I am like caught up, and I have those sectioned off separately, and we're gonna do those first before we do the rest of the book series in this video. I really hope I didn't forget any. I'm sure I definitely forgot like 1 or 2 book series, but you know what? It is what it is. We've already got 77 to talk about. We're gonna be here a while, so just get cozy, okay? We're gonna jump right in here. Starting off, I don't know the actual name of this series because when I look it up on Goodreads, it doesn't say anything, but I do know that there's going to be 7 books in this series, and it is The DivineShallows by Alexandra Tran. I did read this as an arc like last year, I want to say, and I really liked this. I rated it 5 stars. This is an epic, like high fantasy, so you really gotta like lock in with this one and use like your full brain. It's got really, really amazing world building. There's betrayal, there's romance. It's like a he falls first. There's trials, definitely trials. There's dragons and other mythical beings. There's fate, there's destiny. Like there's so many just awesome fantasy elements in this book, and I'm so excited to continue this, especially I believe the way this one ended, I think was on a cliffhanger if I remember correctly, and I just really want to know more about like this world and the characters and everything. So I'm patiently, not really patiently, waiting for the next book in this series. I definitely will be continuing this one. The next one I'm including is technically done. It's a trilogy and all of the books are out now, but the author did say that there's going to be another novella, so I'm including it in this video, and it is the Powerless Trilogy. I have read them all. The last one just came out recently, but Lauren did say there will be another novella following Fearless, so I am keeping it on my spreadsheet currently for the purpose of that novella. I just don't want to forget about it if I take it off, you know what I mean? If you have not heard about Powerless, it is a romantasy. There are elites and then there are ordinaries. Ordinaries are kind of like banished from the kingdom because they're seen as like lesser. And actually, they're not even like just banished. A lot of them are like So we have Peyton, she's our female main character, and she poses as like a psychic to, you know, be able to live in this kingdom and everything. And she gets thrown into these trials with all these other people who have powers and stuff. And we're just kind of like following her. And there's like a rebellion, and there's a romance with Kai. I'm sure you guys have all heard of this book, so I really am not going to go into too much detail about it, but I definitely do plan on reading the novella. I will say this series kind of felt like it went downhill for me. Like, I love the first book the most, and then the second and third kind of didn't do much for me, especially the second. The third redeemed itself a little bit, but it kind of felt like this book just in another form. So this definitely was my favorite, but the novella, Powerful, I really, really liked that. Actually, probably even more than like all of the core stories. So I feel like I might like the next novella as well. Who knows? But I will be continuing this one, obviously. I've already made it this far, so I might as well read the novella, right? The next one is a very, very obvious one that's obviously going to be in this video, and it is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Who the heck knows when we're gonna get the next book? I don't know. There's been, I feel like every month at least, there's been all these speculations of an announcement coming, and no announcement ever comes. And I'm convinced that Sarah's just like messing with us, and we're never gonna get the book at this point. I don't even know if it like, okay. I was gonna say I don't even know if I care for the next book. That is such a lie, because obviously the second that book drops, I will be foaming at the mouth. But it's just like, why are we waiting so long? I also feel like we literally know nothing really about Elaine besides the fact that she just grows flowers and gardens. So I feel like in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I really care about her, but obviously, I will be continuing this when this does come out. I just don't know when it will be, so we're all just kind of sitting here with no information. So I firmly believe that every single person watching this video knows about Addt'l and what it's about, so I'm not going to explain the plot of this one because it's just, we're just going to move on, you know what I mean? I'm going to try to make the video as short as I can, so if it's like a very popular series, I probably am not going to go into too much detail about it, or even in general. I think I'm going to give like 1 or 2 lines about each one and not give like a full synopsis because, again, 77 books. Then we have the Dream Harbor series by Laurie Gilmore. I just recently read the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. That one came out recently, and then there's going to be another one coming out. I can't remember the name of it, but I do like this series and I do plan on continuing it. I think I really just like it because of the vibes and like the aesthetic. It gives very Gilmore Girls, which I think was her inspo, obviously. I will say the first one is probably my least favorite. I feel like this series gets better as she publishes, and like the writing and the themes and everything do get better. So I personally really like this series. I know it's hit or miss for some people, but I do plan on continuing it. It's just it follows different people in Dream Harbor, whether they live there or they're moving there or just coming to visit or whatever, and each book is following a different couple. They're interconnected standalones, but it's just like a little small town. And it's kind of like based on, obviously, the holidays. Like this one came out in fall. And then we had the Cinnamon Bun Bookshop, I think was the name of the second one. And then we have like the Christmas Tree Farm, I think. And then the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which came out in like the spring. So they're kind of like based around the season like they're released in, which I think is super cute. And I feel like they just like look really cute. Another very obvious one, Fourth Wing, or sorry, the Emprian, is that how you say it? Emprian, I think, series by Rebecca Yarros. I definitely do plan on continuing this. I believe this will be a 5-book series, and I really, really liked Onyx Storm. I really liked the route that it took. I liked the way it ended. I loved everything that was in it. I did get a little confused at certain points because she was introducing a lot of like people and things, but the way it ended, I think I do like the direction that the story is going in. I'm a little nervous, and it really depends. I keep saying that it depends on the next book on if I'm going to continue the series or not, which is funny, but I'm just like so afraid that she's going to kill off a main character or something, and if she does, I feel like then it's going to be like a trilogy and that's it or something, you know. But right now, where I stand currently in 2025, I am going to continue the series and I do love it, so call me basic, I don't care. I enjoy it. Reading is subjective, and I read this for fun. Then we have Mythic Sparks by Cece Hartley. This is the first book. I don't know how many she plans on having. This is another book that I read as an ARC and then got sent a copy as well. And if you love Addt'l, you will love this book. It is very, very heavily inspired by it. If I know I love a certain book and another book is heavily inspired by it, I know I probably will love that book because it'll kind of give me like that same feeling. So I don't know when the second book will come out, but I definitely do plan on continuing this one. So far, all of these have been definite yeses. Don't worry, there are maybes and nos in this pile. You know, I just realized I probably should have like separated them, like gone over the yeses, then the maybes, then the nos, but I didn't do that. So we will not be doing that. They will all be thrown in there. Sorry. I didn't even think about it until now. Next, this was another book I read as an arc. And I'm not saying that I love these books and that I plan on continuing the series because I got them as arcs. Like, these are just genuinely books I really liked and can't wait to like read the series. But it is the Threadmen Chronicles. This is House of Blight. I read this in January of this year. This was my first 5-star of the year. This was so good and I really cannot wait for the next book. This follows our female main character Adira, and she's a threadmender, which in this world is someone who has the ability to heal people, but every time she does, it takes off of like her own life, and her like abilities are forbidden in the town that she lives in, so she always has to like hide it and dye her hair and everything. If I remember correctly, she has like a specific hair color that is like makes it obvious that she's a threadmender, that she has this ability, so she has to like dye it. That wasn't relevant, so I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that. There's a deadly sickness going around town called blight, and she doesn't have the ability to heal that, and someone close to her ends up getting it. She does like attempt to heal this person, but someone ends up seeing her. So we have like this other being, they're called Evers. I honestly just think of them as like fae essentially, because that's what they seem like they are without her explicitly like saying that they're fae. And she ends up striking a bargain with a specific Ever, and she goes back to like his manor with him and pretty much focuses on trying to heal blight. There's plot twists and there's betrayal, of course, just like every romantasy, and it's just really, really good. And I feel like I did a terrible job explaining that, but I read this back in January and it's May now, and I have the memory of a goldfish, so I don't always remember every little detail about the book. Sue me, I'm sorry. The next book series that we have in this video, oh my god, we are not even like 10% into this. This is going to be such a long video. We have the Into Darkness series. This is Lights Out. This is the probably smut special edition. I'm obsessed with it. And the second one comes out, I think, in like 2 weeks. So I don't know if this video will be out before or after that one is released, but it comes out in June, and it's, I believe, called Caught Up, and I think it's about her cousin or something like that. And I'm really, really excited. I definitely plan on continuing this. I think this was so fun, and I'm really like curious about the direction she's going to take the second book in, because I think my favorite part about this was the fact that it was like a dark romance, but it was very humorous. Like, Josh was just funny. Like, he's crazy, but he's hilarious. So I definitely plan on continuing this. This follows a nurse, and she has this obsession with going on social media and watching like this masked man that does thirst traps. And she like jokingly comments on his post something about like, oh, I wish like you were waiting for me when I came home from work or something like that. So him being funny, he breaks into her house and then films a thirst trap in her bedroom. And the funniest part is that he literally orders her a whole security system after that, because he's like, oh, anybody can just break in, like, you're not safe, as he's literally like breaking in. I don't know, I just think it's hilarious. I love when dark romances also have like funny like humor to them. I'm gonna be so curious if anybody actually watches this video till the end. If you do, you're gonna have to let me know, because you guys will be like my #1 for real. Next we have Fall of the Dragon. This is Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. This is like a steampunk Mulan inspired retelling, and I really, really enjoyed this. This follows Ying, and her father is assassinated, and he was like a world-class engineer, and she's always wanted to follow in his footsteps. So to attend this academy, she has to pretend to be a boy, because it's like an all-boys program. And, or not academy, I'm sorry, what is it called? Guild. Engineers Guild, I'm sorry. But all of this is also because she's trying to find clues on who assassinated her father. So we have this storyline of her going through this Engineers Guild and hiding her identity and everything, but she's also trying to discover who assassinated her father, while there's also a little romance building in the middle of it. And I enjoyed this so much. I cannot wait for the second book, so I definitely do plan on continuing this one. Then by Katarina St. Clair, we have The Shadows of Darkness. This is an old cover. I don't know if you can get these anymore, but this is Forgive Me, Father. And I also read Teacher's Pet, and then the third one, I don't know the name of it yet. I think she's currently writing it. I do plan on continuing it. I really liked the first two, and I really like how her dark romance books are dark romance and unhinged, but there's also like a whole other storyline. So it'll be like a taboo theme. Like, for example, this is Priest. And then the second one is like Professor. And I don't know what the third one is. I don't really know much about the guy that is in it. His name's Echo. I believe it's his story that we're getting, which you meet in this book and in the second book. But she has like this taboo theme going on while also this whole other storyline is going on. I can't explain it, but it's so good. And these are interconnected standalone, so you don't have to read this one to read the next one, but I still recommend it. And I definitely do plan on continuing this series. By Sarah A. Parker, we have the Moonfall series. So the first one is When the Moon Hatched. This is my Fairy Loot edition. This was a crazy book because I literally had to take 3 pages of notes, but I'm addicted to this book. I really had a good time with this book. I actually have a whole reading vlog with this book where I was reading anticipated fantasy books. It's another series I'm doing on my channel, but I read this in one of them. So this follows Rave, who is an assassin for a rebel group. She ends up getting captured by the guild, and this is where she crosses paths with our main male character, Khan. He is a king, he's broody, and he's a dragon rider. He knows something about Rave that she doesn't know and that we also don't know for a while. So he's so determined to like keep her with him and just keep an eye on her and everything. She obviously starts developing feelings for him. This is a very slow burn. So it is a romantasy, but I will say very slow burn, and I would say it's more on like the high fantasy aspect rather than the romance fantasy aspect. That's just my opinion because the world building in this is crazy. You will be confused for a while. That's why I had to take notes. I explained a lot of things in the vlog that I did, like pretty much explaining the entire world and the overall plot and like breaking it down. But you can also just like Google. There's a lot of people who broke it down really well. But once you actually understand like the world and what's going on in this book, I feel like her writing is very beautiful, and I just really had a good time, and I can't wait to read the next book. So I will be continuing this for sure, but when I have the brain power to do it. Besides, I don't think the second book is even out yet, but when it does come out, I probably won't read it immediately because it did take a lot to read. Like, my brain was a little fried. We have reached our first no of this video, and this book, this series, it is called the Villains of Lore series. This is Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss. I am so bummed that I did not like this, okay? I wanted to love this so bad. I thought the plot of it sounded so good, and I love anything that is like Greek mythology inspired, even though it's very loosely inspired by it. It was still like inspired, so I got excited. This was just so cringe. Like, there's so much TikTok language in this book that I feel like I could not get past it, and I tried so hard, and it takes a lot for me to not like a book. So I feel like when I don't like a book, there's really no changing my mind, because I was like, well, maybe I'll try to read it again and see how I feel about it. Like, maybe I was just like having an off time, like I found it at the wrong time, but I don't know, like it was hard to get through. Like, there were moments that I did like in it, like it wasn't all bad, but it really wasn't for me. I think I rated it like a 3.5 or 3.75, and at first I was still like recommending it to people, because just because a book isn't for me doesn't mean it's not for other people, and I know a lot of people that do like it. And like I said, there were still parts of this that I did like, but the more I sat on it, I was like, I really just don't think I care for it, and I'm probably actually gonna unhaul it off my shelf possibly, but I don't know. I might give it one more shot. I haven't decided yet, which is why it's still on my shelf, because every time I see people obsessed with it, I feel like, oh, well, maybe I just read it at the wrong time. Like, maybe it's me. Like, let me try one more time, maybe. I don't know. Let me know if you guys, like, what you guys think I should do. Like, if I should reread this, or if I should just say no and drop it and go about my day, you know? Let me know. But right now, it's a no. And we have the Villain series by Rena Kent. This is her newer series. Obviously, Kiss the Villain is the first one. I have this as a maybe. I'm biased because I love Rena Kent, so I feel like I'm gonna continue it, honestly, because I just like her, and all of her books I've read I do love. This just was not as exciting to me as all of her other books I've read, but her next book is Vaughn. Actually, scratch that maybe. This is gonna be a yes, because we're getting Vaughn's book, and I already know I'm gonna read that, so obviously I'm gonna be continuing the series, so scratch that. That's definitely a yes. This follows Gareth, who we've met in Legacy of Gods, and then Caden. This is a professor student, but very dark romance, and it was good. I had a good time. I just didn't really care for Caden, honestly, but I probably, yeah, will continue this, like I said, because I've been waiting for a Vaughn book for a very long time. So you see what I mean when I say I change my mind real quick? because I literally just changed my mind in the time span of 2 seconds. This is a newer one on my list, and this is a definite yes. This is probably going to be like a Roman Empire book. Technically, the series is finished, but it's getting republished traditionally, so I have it as like waiting for the next book to come out, because I'm just going to wait and read those editions. I don't know if you can even get the indie ones anymore, like on Kindle or anything, so I'm just going to wait for the next one to come out, like traditionally. But it is Heavenly Bodies. I actually don't know the name of this series. Oh, it is the Heavenly Body series. Okay. This book, oh my gosh. I don't know what she put in this book, but I was addicted. Like, this book was so good to me. I just did a video reading this book. This is in the Booktubers Choose My TBR video. And this was so good. This is like a celestial fantasy. It kind of blends like Greek mythology with like astrology, but in their own terms. Like, they don't use our like star names or our signs or our Greek gods or anything like that. Like, they don't use the names, but they're very heavily inspired. Like Torah for Taurus, Aphrodite for Aphrodite, Pisces for Pisces, you know what I mean? Like, here, I'll show you the... But this follows Alara. She's our female main character, and there's like a prophecy that she's gonna fall in love with a star, and they're gonna be destined to kill each other. So she ends up having to flee her home because said star ends up coming down and just, you know, wrecking havoc. So she flees and ends up getting captured by a neighboring kingdom, and it is Helios, the kingdom of light. She ends up having to be kind of like trained as their weapon to kill the star, because they kind of have like a mutual beneficial agreement type thing. Obviously, I'm continuing this. There's literally no question about this. I'm 100% continuing this book series. And the last of the section of books that I'm waiting for the second book to come out. So all of those I've been waiting for the next book to come out, okay? This is the last book. And I'm waiting for the third book to come out for this one. And this is the, and I literally feel dumb because I don't know how to like say this word, but it's the Chrysophilist series. Goldson. And then the second one is Gold Flame by Adeline Knight. I just read the second one. She just released the arcs 2 days ago, and I read it yesterday in one sitting for a 24-hour challenge, and oh, so good. They're dark romance. The second book is very dark, like one of probably the darkest romance books I've read so far, so please check your triggers if you have any, or if you're new to dark romance. If you're new, I don't even know if I'd recommend it currently, because maybe get your toes wet somewhere else, because especially the second book, it is dark. I was like shocked at a lot of things happening, so definitely check triggers. I just can't emphasize that enough with some of these books. But this is such a perfect book for like female revenge, like feminine rage. Oh my gosh, I love Aurelia so much. Her mother dies, and Aurelia is determined to get revenge on every single person who kind of played a role in this, because her mother went through a lot of stuff in this society of people using and abusing her in not so great ways. So she's kind of like got a hit list where she is like them, you know? She's a badass. Like, I love her so much. And she kind of ends up like partnering with Julian, who is her ex-boyfriend's brother, who they've kind of like always had like a thing for each other, but she was dating his brother. They're not together, so they start kind of rekindling their own thing while he kind of helps her with her little side tasks. But the way it ends, I was shocked. So I was so glad that I got to read the second book, and now that I read the second book, I don't know how to feel about certain people. But yes, I will 100% be continuing. I cannot wait for the third book. It is a trilogy, so that'll be the end of that series at that point. I feel like I need to speed this up more. I feel like I've been going into too much detail about each book. Next, we have the Undone series. This is Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. I probably will continue this eventually. I'm in no rush. I did enjoy this, but I rated it 3.5 because at certain points it did kind of feel like it dragged a little bit. Like, there's so many spots where I remember being like, oh, is this like the end of the book? And then it just kept going. And like, it's not even like objectively like a long book, but I felt like inside just felt long, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it just dragged at certain points. But I did like the overall plot and theme of this. And like I said, we're going to be really quick about the synopsis moving forward. This is about Reese and Sadie. Reese ended up getting a concussion one time while playing hockey, so now he's afraid to get back on the ice. Then we have Sadie, who is trying to stay focused in school and deal with custody hearings and everything for her brothers. She's also a figure skater, so she's trying to kind of like balance all of that. They meet, they help each other out, they fall in love. The Folk of the Air by Holly Black. This technically I am finished. The only reason I do have it again on this list, just like Powerless, is because there is one more novella that I have to read before I can technically mark this off, and it is How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories, I believe. So definitely have to read that, and then this will be done. I'm obsessed with this series. It is one of my favorite YA like fantasy books. I just think it holds a special place in my heart. This follows Jude and Carden. Carden is a fairy. He's kind of wicked and he's got a tail. That's all you really need to know about him. Jude is a human who lives in the fairy realm. Her parents were murdered and she is just a badass. She's determined not to take anybody's shit. I love her. Another book series that I don't think I need to say literally anything about, Throne of Glass. This is from Acrylic Picks. Obviously, absolutely, I will be continuing this series. I have a reading vlog reading this series that will be coming out when I'm done with it. I've only been reading about one a month so far, and clearly I'm only on Throne of Glass, so at the time of me filming this. So I don't know when that vlog will be coming out, but I think I'm going to try to focus next month on reading like 2 or 3 of them because I don't want this video to take like a year to film. But long story short, yes, I will be continuing this. I love Selena. I love this series. Okay, sticking with the SJM theme, we have Crescent City. This is an urban fantasy that follows Bryce Quinlan, and there was like so many, like every mythical creature you could probably think of is in this book series. And the fact that it's an urban fantasy, I love it. I love urban fantasies. They're probably one of my favorite like fantasy subgenres. This book, you either love it or hate it, and I think it just depends on if you like urban fantasies. The world building is crazy, so you really have to lock in. But this is actually my favorite Sarah J. Maas book. I haven't read the rest of the series, so I can't say it's my favorite series. Although I did hear that book 1 is better than 2 and 3. But I do stand by the statement that out of all of ACOTAR and out of what I've read so far in Throne of Glass, which is just Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass, that this is currently my favorite SJM book. And it probably will stay that way, so definitely will continue this series. It's kind of like an urban fantasy, like murder mystery. Like that, I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Like, I love it. Another book that I am keeping on this spreadsheet for the sake of the novellas, but the actual core story is finished, is the Zodiac Academy series. I read all of these. I believe I started it in like 2023 up until book 9 came out, and then I read book 9 when it came out, obviously. I'm obsessed with this series. I personally love like the first 5 to 6 books. I feel like 7, 8, 9 kind of, like, it wrapped up beautifully. I just feel like all of 7, 8, 9 could have been like merged into one book, and all the filler could have been cut, and it would have been like perfect, if that makes sense. But I haven't read any of like the novellas. I don't even know if I'm gonna read all of them. Like, there's certain ones I don't care for, like Live and Let Lionel. I don't know if I care for that one. What else is there? I did read the first one, As Told by the Boys, and I really liked that one. Oh, Origins of the Academy Bully, I haven't read yet. And The Big Ass Party, haven't read yet. Seth on the Moon, I haven't read. I do want to read that because Seth. And Beyond the Veil, I definitely want to read Beyond the Veil for sure. So the novellas are what I have to continue, so that is why it's on this list. I will eventually continue them. I think what happened was that by the time I finished, I was so exhausted because they're thick books, especially 7, 8, 9. Like, they're like... So by the time I finished, I was like, I need the biggest break from the series, and then I just haven't gone back to it, so I will. It's just because the core story is done. Like, I don't feel like I'm necessarily missing anything, so that's why. This is another book where it has every like mythical being that you can think of in this book. This follows Tori and Darcy Vega. They're twins. They live in the human realm, like they grew up as humans or whatever, and then they find out that they're actually fae, and they have to go back to Zodiac Academy so they can get their inheritance. Then there are heirs. There are 4 heirs who don't like this because they were trained their whole life to take over as like the council, and now these 2 girls are coming in and trying to take their place on the throne, but they want nothing to do with it. But yet the boys don't believe that, so they bully them. The first one is a bully romance, seriously. So a lot of people don't ever continue the series because they can't get past that. But only the first one is really like that, and then it really gets better from there. I loved it personally, but I like a bully romance. But long story short, they bully the heck out of them until they decide to start fighting back, and then obviously friendships and relationships and everything form from there. But there's just, it's such a good story. It's like one of those really like trashy fantasy books that you just like cannot put down. It's like the best way to describe it. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I absolutely love this series. I 100% will be continuing this. I just have to read Finale and Spectacular, and then I'm done. This book series pretty much just follows the game of Caraval, where you kind of have to remember, like, everything is a game. They're going to throw in all these things to confuse you and trick you and pretty much gaslight you the entire time. Like, this whole book felt like I got gaslit. I love it. And it follows Scarlet and Donatella and just everything encompassing, like, the games. Then along with that, technically, kind of, not really, but kind of, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I freaking love Once Upon a Broken Heart. I don't know if I like Caraval or Once Upon a Broken Heart more, to be honest, because I love them both for their own reasons. But this follows Evangeline and Jack's Prince of Hearts, who you meet him in Caraval. And this is just very, like, whimsical, fairy tale-esque, and it literally reads like a fairy tale. So I highly, highly recommend it. Yes, I will be continuing this. I'm sorry. If I'm going too fast, like, I'm so sorry, but I'm, like, literally trying to keep this video under an hour. I don't have the first book, so I just grabbed this one, but A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I just have to read the third one, and then I'm done. And for some reason, I just keep putting it off. I did really enjoy the first one. I don't know how I felt about this one. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't, like, my favorite, so I think I've just been hesitant to pick up the third one. I will eventually continue it. This follows Pip, and she was doing, like, a project and investigating, like, a murder, obviously, and trying to prove someone innocent. And you kind of just, like, follow her doing, like, detective work as a literal, like, 16-year-old. So I probably will continue this. Again, I'm just, like, in no rush, which most of them, like, if it's not, like, a 100% I'm obsessed with this, yes, I'll finish. 90% of them are, like, oh, I will continue, and just no rush, you know? Like, I feel like that's how a lot of the books on this spreadsheet are. Crowns of Nyakia by Carissa Broadbent. I for sure will be continuing this series. This kind of filled, like, my romantasy void when I was struggling to find a fantasy book I was really enjoying in the moment. I really, really like this. I read this one and only the novella so far, so I definitely have some catching up to do. This follows Araya. She's a human in a vampire world, so it's like the Girl Prince but with vampires. And she wants to, like, prove herself among the vampires, so she ends up competing in these, like, very deadly trials with literally all these other vampire covens, like, very powerful vampires from each family or whatever. I don't think coven was the right word, but we're gonna keep it as that. She ends up meeting Rain. She partners with him kind of reluctantly, and there's something that happens at the end of this book that literally had my jaw on the floor. So I don't know why I haven't started the second one yet, because it was a big, like, moment. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably want to read the second one soon, actually. Like, now that I'm, like, thinking about the ending again, you know? The Seclusion by Jackie Castle. I believe there's only 2 books in this series. I have to get the second book because I really, really loved this book. And actually, with everything going on in the world right now, I feel like this is, like, the perfect book to read. This follows Patricia. She goes by Patch, and this is, like, a dystopian world. It's the year 2099, or I'm sorry, 2090. America has walled itself off from the rest of the world. Sounds a little familiar, right? Books are banned. Sounds familiar again. But Patricia ends up finding a very old car with all of these banned books that we know today as, like, classic literature, and it kind of leads her to questioning things, and she ends up running away and finding, like, this little secret society, I guess you could call it, rebellion, like, rebel group. I don't know what to call it, but pretty much they learn everything that they know is a lie. And honestly, this was so eerie in, like, the best possible way. I really enjoyed it, and I have to get the second book because I really, really liked it, and I highly recommend it. And I feel like I talk about this one, well, I haven't talked about it in a while, but I used to talk about this one a lot. Up next, I do have The Gilded City by Leah Stone. I'm actually currently reading the second one now. I think there is 3, maybe. Hold on, let me change my battery. I'm at 1%. I don't know where I left off, but there's 3 books in the series. I'm actually currently reading the second one right now. I definitely think I will continue this series. This is a YA fantasy. Very, very easy to digest. Like, the writing is very straightforward, and I really liked it. I don't know. I thought it was a really fun, like, concept. It follows Fallon, and she was born with a curse where if someone touches her, it causes her excruciating pain. She ends up having to break into this city and find a healer because her dad, like, needs a healer. And in all of this, like, chaos, she finds out that this person can touch her. So she ends up getting an invite to attend the university and everything in the Gilded City, and they relocate in there. But she learns more and more about like her history, like her family history, and this very, very dark magic that she kind of holds. And yeah, it just kind of like follows all of that. Then we have Graves Glen by Aaron Sterling. The first book was The X-Hex. I think there are 3 books currently in the series. I don't know if this is a continued series or not, or if it's just the 3. But I probably will eventually continue it. I remember liking the first one, but I don't think it had me in like a chokehold where I was immediately like, oh my gosh, I need the rest of the books. And like, I need to read them all now, you know what I mean? But I probably will eventually continue. I just kind of like forget about that one a lot. So that's why it's definitely on the spreadsheet. Obviously, I'll continue it one day when I see it on the spreadsheet, but I'm in no rush. Then we have Maple Hills by Hannah Grace. I don't have the first book. I only have this one. I personally really, really liked this series. I loved Icebreaker when it came out. I feel like a lot of people hate it and make fun of it, and that's like one of the original like book talk books that everybody hated. I loved it. I don't know. I thought it was fun, but I also go into books not expecting anything, and like I just go into a book being like, oh, this is gonna be so fun. I'm excited. I definitely want to read Daydream, but I heard mixed things about it, so I just kept putting it off. And yeah, these are interconnected standalone, so each one follows a different couple in Maple Hills. So, and it's like a hockey romance, kind of. But like, I don't think like it follows boys on the like original hockey team, but like for example, this one has really nothing to do with hockey. So I don't even want to call it like a hockey romance. That's just how we met them. Next we have Big Shots by Tessa Bailey. I only have this one. I don't have the first one because it was about golf, and like I just don't really care about golf. Like it was fine. The book was entertaining, but I just didn't care enough to own it. If I find it somewhere in a thrift store, I'll probably get it, but I'm not gonna like pay $20 for it, you know? I definitely do want to read the third one. It's Dream Girl Drama. It came out this year, and I am very intrigued by them because you see them in this book. I can't remember if you see them in the first book or not, but you definitely see them in this book, and like the way they interact and everything. And it's a step sibling trope kind of, but they're like fully grown when their parents are getting married, so not really. But again, interconnected standalone, and they're following different couples. And I don't know if, I can't remember. I think the third one he's in hockey too, but I can't remember. But yeah, so I will be continuing. Again, no rush. Now that I'm like halfway through this video, I'm like worried that nobody's gonna even find this video interesting. Like I feel like this video is just for me to talk, and like that's it. And I'm like, oh my god, nobody's probably even gonna watch this video. But I'm like halfway through, so I can't stop it now. I'm already committed halfway. So up next we have Rebel Blue Ranch by Lila Sage. I personally love this series. It's cowboy romances, interconnected standalones. In case you also haven't noticed, moving forward, oh well, the last few, the interconnected standalones I'm also not really explaining because each book literally is a completely different plot, so there's no point in me explaining like one plot. I just kind of am briefly going over like the vibe of all the books in the series, okay? Dark Olympus by Katie Roberts. I think these are by Bookish box. So I only have this edition. I don't own any of these, which is funny because I actually really, really like this series. I just read them all on Kindle, and I just haven't gotten like little shelf trophies for them except for this one. I really like this series, and I do plan on continuing it. Each book is about a different like Greek mythology couple. It's heavily inspired by, well, no, it's loosely inspired by Greek mythology. It kind of just like uses their names, honestly. But they're also kind of like urban fantasy, I'd say, because they're very like modern. So like there's social media and stuff. And the first, I think 3 are definitely my favorite, but I do like the overall story because each book is about a couple and like their struggles, but there's also this overall plot kind of going on. So they are interconnected, but I personally would say read them in order if you do plan on starting this, because there is like an overall storyline that is also happening in each book that kind of ties together, if that makes sense. But I really like this series. I do plan on continuing it, and I do have the next book on my Kindle. I just haven't been in the mood. The problem is I have like very like shiny object syndrome, so I have like all these books in my physical TBR, clearly 77 books that I'm in the middle of, and then a new book will come out and everybody's talking about it, and I'm like, I need to go read that right now, and then it's part of a series. So then I just add to the list instead of take off the list. So next we have the Infatuated Face series by Janine O'Reilly. I think there are 4 books currently in this series. I think the 4th one just came out. I probably will continue this series. This is a maybe. I mean, like, I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't like my favorite. I wasn't obsessed with it. Sometimes I was kind of like, I don't know. But it was interesting enough for me, and I love any book that has to do with fae and fairies so I probably will continue at some point. This follows Callie. She's a scientist, a biologist actually, to be like more specific, and she's studying like these moths. She ends up going to collect these rare mushrooms, and she ends up stepping in a fairy like circle, and that's kind of one of the things I didn't like about it, because she's been told, hey, this is a fairy circle, don't step in it, and then she goes, oh my god, fairy circle, I'm gonna step in it. That's not how that went down, but that's how it felt like that went down. So it's kind of like, okay girl, you're like a scientist, but you clearly like don't pay attention to anything, but whatever. So she steps in a fairy circle, and she ends up getting transported into the fairy realm. And what was his name? Prince Mendax. He immediately hates her and thinks that she's disgusting and ugly and all of stinky, whatever. Like everything that you could think about a person negative, he thought of her. And he thought that she was like an assassin sent to him. But then somehow randomly he decides one day that he wants to be with her, and he's obsessed with her and can't live without her. And then things happen, and there's crazy plot twists. I will continue at some point. I just haven't really had like the urge, I guess, to. I think because I have other like fae books that I kind of love more that I've been prioritizing. Chestnut Springs. Absolutely will be continuing this series. I really like this series. This is interconnected standalones following couples in Chestnut Springs. They are cowboy romances, and they're a good time. Boys of Avix. I will be continuing this. I just don't know when. I think there's only one other book, and it's Promise Me Not. I'm literally looking at it right now. For some reason, I just haven't had the pull. I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anybody talking about it. I think this was a standalone, and then it got so popular that she like decided to write a second one, or I don't really know the background between that. So I don't even know who that one's about, what happens in that one. But I did really like Say You Swear. This was a 5-star for me, and I think because this one was so good, and that I hear nobody talking about the next one, I'm afraid of like reading it and it like tainting this one somehow, which I know is so like silly and stupid. But yeah, I will continue it. It's literally sitting on my shelf. You know what would be really fun? I should do like a TBR jar or like a random generator or something to start picking my books, because when I'm doing these continuing series videos, I'm obviously picking the ones I'm really excited for, but then I keep putting off the ones like that, for example. And I think if I do that, it'll also help me complete series more, because like, for example, there's only 2 books out for that series. So all I have to do is read that one and that series will be done. So maybe I will do that. That would be really fun, instead of just focusing on like the ones I'm really excited for, or the new releases, you know? Next, I have Brier You by L. Kennedy. This is funny because I've literally only read book, I think, 2 and 4, or 2 and 3. No, 2 and 4. I have not read book 1 or 3. I think this is like the first interconnected standalone series that I haven't read in order. And what happened was I saw this one day on the table at Barnes & Noble, and I bought it without realizing that it was number 2. And I didn't own any of the other ones, but since I already owned it, I was like, well, I'm just gonna read it because it's interconnected, like whatever. Or no, I'm sorry, I think it was book 4 that I bought. That's irrelevant. I bought one of them, I read it, and then I've just been buying them as I've like seen them. So if I find them at the thrift store or something, I've been just buying them and reading them, just not in order. So I've read book 2 and 4. I do plan on continuing. Obviously, I only have to read book 1 and 3, and then I also do want to read off campus, so I'll eventually get to that, but we should prioritize finishing these before we start another series. Next, I do have the Addicted series. I've literally only read this first book in the series. I actually just ordered all of them, so I'm going to be reading it hopefully soon, and I'm going to try to knock it all out in like one, oh my god, I almost said one sitting, in like maybe 1 week or something, and doing a reading vlog. So hopefully that'll get knocked off my list really fast. I liked it. I do plan on continuing it. Literally, this just follows Lily and Lo and like their addictions and the whole, well, there's this one and then there's the Calloway sisters, but in my head I kind of include them both. But the Addicted series follows just them like battling their addictions and like navigating all of this stuff. It follows them the whole time, and then the Calloway sisters follows the other sisters that you meet in this book, but I lumped them together. So Boys of Tommen, this is a 100% yes, I plan on continuing, although I will say I'm a little hesitant. The next one is about to come out, I think, in like a week at the time of filming this. I'm gonna read it, and I obviously am continuing the series, but I'm very skeptical and scared to read it because as of right now, I'm not a Lizzie stan. Then we have Shatter Me. I definitely will be continuing this series. I don't know why I haven't finished it yet, to be honest. I stopped after Ignite Me, and I just haven't gone back to it. This follows Juliet, and she has power where if she touches someone, she can cause them excruciating pain. So it's like that other book, but like the opposite, you know? And she ends up meeting Aaron Warner. There's like a resistance or rebellion type thing going on, and it's juicy. It's a good book for sure. I will be continuing it. Then we have The Never After by Emily McIntyre. I probably will continue this one. I haven't had the urge to. I did enjoy this one, but I was just kind of like, whatever. It's fun. It was a good time, but I just have so many other books that I want to read that this is kind of just like on the bottom of my list right now. This is like well, it's not even like a Peter Pan retelling. It's like Hook and Wendy. Like the villain kind of gets the girl, but it's very loosely based on Peter Pan. I feel like this would be a really good like intro to dark romance. Like if you're wanting to kind of dip your toes in, I feel like this would be a good start. Next, we have Tales of Weeping Hollow. I 100% will be continuing this. The next book is Bone Island, and again, I don't know why I haven't read it yet, because this was a 5-star for me. I really freaking love this book. I love the whole vibe of it. It's very like atmospheric and dark and moody, and overall good time. Like this town is like Halloween year round. This follows Fallon. She gets a letter in the mail that she needs to go take care of her grandpa in Weeping Hollow, which is a small town that pretty much like nobody knows exists, I guess you could say. There's like witch covens. Once you're in the town, you can't really like leave type vibe. And then there's masked men. I love it. I love this book. I will be continuing. I think I've been waiting for, because I read this last fall, I think I've just been waiting for fall to read it again, because I just really like being like immersed in a book like in the season that I'm in. I feel like it just, I don't know, it hits differently. Next, we do have Kindred's Curse. I don't think I'm going to be continuing this one personally. I had it as a maybe at first, but the more I think about it, obviously there are so many other books that I have to continue, and that one I was already leaning more towards no, so I just decided to make it a no currently. I wanted to love that book so much, Spark of the Everflame, but personally it just was not for me. Something about it just did not hit for me. I thought the female main character was just annoying, and I thought there were so many like plot holes, and like I get it's a series, so some of those plot holes could be on purpose, but there was just like too much for me to even like have closure by the end of the book, I guess. I just don't think I'm going to continue. There's just so many other romanticies and fantasies that I love more, that I would like to put my time and energy into more than that one. Then we have Off the Ice by Balacabra. I probably will continue this one. I've only read Spiral so far. I really enjoyed it. I got it as an ARC, which is why I didn't read the first book. I honestly just completely forgot about it, so I will eventually continue it for sure. Next, we have The Kane Brothers by Megan Quinn. I thought this book was freaking hilarious. This was one of the funniest books I have read. I definitely do want to continue. The second one, So Not Meant to Be, is actually on my 2025 cart, so I probably should read that soon. I think the only reason I just haven't reached for it is because they are like thicker for romance books. And sometimes I'm like, oh my god, like what? It is not that serious for it to be so thick. But honestly, this one was really hilarious. So if the second one ends up being just as funny, I would be able to finish it so fast. Next we have, I think it's called the Alex Stern series or duology, Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I love this book, in case you can't tell by all of my little tabs I have here. The second one is also on my 2025 TBR cart. I definitely want to continue this. The only reason I haven't reached for it is because I'm a little nervous of it. Because you have to be locked in. This is one of those series that you kind of have to really pay attention. I don't know about the second one, but the first one, there's a lot of like academic talk. It is dark academia, so you have to like really understand what's going on. Like there's a lot of talk about like the societies and like Yale and all of this stuff. And sometimes dark academia, I just feel like if I'm not in the mood for one, I'm not going to understand what's going on, and I'm just going to hate it. So I've just been scared to reach for it because I haven't been in the mood for like a dark academia. So I definitely do want to read the second one though, because they have to go to hell to retrieve somebody, and I don't know in what sense they like hell is going to be in these books, but it kind of feels like there might be like a trial situation maybe or something, or like I don't know. It seems really interesting, and I really like this one. So Wicked Games by Kaylee Smith. I am currently reading this one. Once I finish this, it will be moved up to the completed, waiting for the next book, so obviously I'm continuing it because I'm in the middle of reading it. The best and easiest way that I can describe this series is that Caraval meets like spooky and like demons and ghosts and paranormal. That's literally the best way, because it's like the whole sister goes into the game to save sister dynamic in the first book, and then the second book is about the other sister, so it's like the same energy but also very different games. They're like very deadly and messed up, and this one is like a marriage of convenience. I really am liking it so far. This is my favorite book club for the month, so definitely have to finish this like within the next week. Up next, we do have Broken Bloodlines by Sadie Kincaid. I freaking love this book. I don't know why I haven't picked up the second book yet. You see what I mean when I say I just like forget about them? This is crazy. It's like a why choose type reverse harem, whatever. It follows Ophelia, and she's going to like college, and she ends up pissing off these guys who are actually vampires. And at first they're kind of just like taunting her, but then they become like kind of protective of her. There's also a vampire professor. This book is spicy and it's very entertaining, and she finds out things about herself that she had no idea, and it's very good. I honestly had such a good time with this book. I'm very intrigued to see like where the storyline goes, and I have the second book literally sitting right here actually, so I probably should read that like soon. Next, we have Love Light Farms by BK Borison. I do plan on continuing this. I don't know if all of hers are like Christmas themed or if it was just this one, so I probably should look into that, because I just assumed that they were for some reason, which is why I haven't continued it yet, because I was like, oh, I'll just wait till Christmas or whatever. But they honestly might not even be like related. I don't know why I made that assumption, so I probably should look into that. But I do plan on continuing this for sure. Yeah, I really, really like this book, and I thought the romance was so sweet in this book. Next, we have the Odyssey Duet by Rebecca Sharp. I probably will continue this story. I don't know when. I don't know if I really like necessarily care about the plot for the second one. I think she's like stuck in Paris or something, because she goes to find, so it's like a professor student romance. If I remember correctly, because it's been a minute, he leaves like at the end of the semester, goes back to Paris, and I think she like follows him there, and then I think she gets like stuck in Paris. So I don't know like where the actual storyline goes. I just haven't been like in the mood for it. Next, we do have Rose Hill. I just have one more book currently, or sorry, I forgot that she just announced the fourth one. I'll have 2 books in this series that I have to read. I read Wild Love and Wild Eyes. Yeah, Wild Eyes. I really love this series. This is a interconnected standalone series, and it follows single dads. It's like a single dad series, and it just follows different single dads. So if you like single dads, you're gonna love this series. Then we have the Monster Trilogy by Rena Kent. I have one more book in this series, and then I'll be done. I'm absolutely gonna finish this series. This is my favorite Rena Kent series, and I'll probably be reading the third one soon. I just read the second one recently, and I'm just waiting to get the third one because I want to physically read it, because I'm obsessed with the series and I need to own it. So that's the only reason why I've been putting it off. I haven't even been putting it off. I read the second one a month ago, so love this series. This follows Sasha and Kirill. Sasha goes in the military to kind of like go in hiding for a specific reason. She meets Kirill, who is her commander, I want to say, if I remember correctly. He obviously eventually sees through her disguise that she's not a boy. Oh, did I even include that? She goes undercover as a man. I don't know if I said that, but she goes undercover as a man. Something happens. He ends up having to go back home to America, and she ends up going with him to be like one of his personal bodyguards. So really, really, really love this story. Kings of Sin by Anna Huang. I only own King of Sloth for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I had the other one on pre-order, the newest one, King of Envy, I think. I canceled it because I was like, I can just go and pick it up whenever I'm in the mood for it, because as it was like coming to release date, I realized I didn't have like that like, oh my god, I can't wait for it to come out feeling. So I canceled it, and I was like, I'll just go like buy it in person whenever I do want to read it. I feel like I'm slowly moving away from Anna Huang. I don't know why, because I do really love her series. I love Twisted Games, I love Twisted Lies, and I do like the Kings of Sin stories. That's not to say that I'm not going to read the next one and enjoy it, because I probably will. I just haven't been like I said, I'm not like excited for it, so I don't want to read it when I'm not excited for it, because then I just feel like I'm not gonna like it. So it seems really interesting, and like the characters seem really interesting, and the storyline seems really interesting. I just, for some reason, like I don't have that excitement. Northshore series by Lola King. 100% going to continue this series. I have the second one literally right here. I haven't picked it up honestly because somebody said that the second one has a lot of Taylor Swift references or something, and I was like, I'm just not in the mood for that right now. Like I'm not like a Swiftie. Well, I don't hate her, so nobody come for me, please. But like I'm not a Swiftie, so I just haven't been in the mood to like open a book and see a bunch of references. I know that's such a funny, petty reason, but also I just don't know if I care about that character yet. And especially like the third one in the series, I think is about Jade, and I don't like her right now. After like this book, I hate her. So I'm like, why would I want to read a book about her? So after I read the second one, I don't even know if I'm going to read the third one, if we're being honest. The second one is about, I think, what's his name? Well, now that I'm reading the synopsis, it honestly sounds really good. I think another reason why I haven't been in the mood for this one is because in this one you're following Billy and Caden, and you're learning more about like Caden's gang and like that side of the gang, and I'm pretty sure this one is about the other gang. So I just feel like I've gotten to know, like, I don't actually know. Honestly, there's no like good reason why I haven't picked this up. This hasn't been on the list for a long time though. I think I read this book like 2 or 3 months ago, so like it's not like it's been sitting there for a year. Up next I have Jurassic Park. I have the second one. I just have to read it. I freaking love Jurassic Park and I love dinosaurs, so this is a hell yes. I think I'm gonna read it soon. I've just been waiting for that like itch again to read about dinosaurs to pick it up, so that's just why I haven't picked it up yet. But everybody knows the story of Jurassic Park. Even if you've never seen the movies or read the book, I feel like you know Jurassic Park, so not gonna explain that one. The Salacious Players Club by Sarah Kate. I do plan on continuing this one. My friend and I buddy read Praise, I think was the name of the first one, and we really liked it. I will for sure be continuing them. Another reason why a lot of these I haven't been continuing is because I feel like the last couple months I've had set TBRs. It was kind of harder to read other books that weren't in the TBR in that moment, so I think this month I'm going to have it just solely be like a mood reading thing, so hopefully I can try to make some progress on these. Then we have the Nightshade Duology by Carrie Lake. I just have the second book I have to read. This was such a freaking good book. The only reason I have not immediately started the second book is because she's a brick. And by the time I finish this book, I think it's like 700 pages or something. By the time I finish this, I was like, I do not want to see your guys' names or anything for a hot minute, because it did drag at certain points. And I was just like, I need the longest break from you guys. So very good book, but I just need a break from them, because like sometimes after you read a book this thick, it's like I don't want to see anything about this world for a while. Maybe that's just me. That's actually, I feel like, why half of these are on this list, because after I finish them, I'm like, I can't, get away from me, don't even look at me. But I love it. Believe it or not, I loved it so much. This follows Farron, Jericho, the Baron, and Lustina. There are 4 POVs, and they're like dual timelines, so I think it's the Baron and Lustina are like in the past, and then Jericho and Farron are like current. And they eventually like come together and like you learn a bunch of stuff, but it's like Farron's kind of studying like cults and purgatory and everything, and her father, she believes, is in Nightshade, which is purgatory essentially. So she goes there, that's where she meets Jericho, and you're kind of just like following all of that with like her kind of learning everything and like the past timeline and them falling in love, and it's so entertaining. Like I said, it's just really long. Gods and Monsters by Amber V. Nicole. This is the Book of Azrael. This is the Moonlight Book Box edition, and absolutely I will be finishing this. This is a really good romantasy. I devoured this. If you're looking for a romantasy and you really like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, Crowns of Nyakia like style books, I feel like you would really like this one. I love Diana. I think she's very like cunning and sarcastic and funny, and I love her. And he's absolutely divine. Look at, he's beautiful. So yes. The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. 100% will be continuing this. I think this is my favorite YA fantasy. I am obsessed with this. This follows Rune, who is a vigilante called the Crimson Moth, where she's kind of helping other witches, because witches are hunted in this world. And they're hunted by, of course, our main male character Gideon, who is a witch hunter. And Rune ends up kind of helping him. He doesn't know that she's the Crimson Moth, and I freaking love this. This is so good. It's also like a Regency style fantasy if you do like those. And this was just a really good book. So I just got the second one in the mail like a week ago, so I will be definitely reading it very soon. The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I read the first 2 recently. I loved the show, and I finally decided to read the books. I don't know why I never read them. I finally did. And I definitely should read the 3rd one soon before the new season comes out. So I guess I will be doing that probably like this month, if we're being completely honest. Royal Elite by Rena Kent. Absolutely, I will be finishing this. I just only read the first one so far. Cruel King, I believe, is the name of it. It is the parents of the Legacy of Gods like spin-off. This is the original story, like the parents. And I'm having a good time. I've only read the first book, but I definitely can see where Landon King gets everything from after meeting his father. I do enjoy it. I do think so far I still like Legacy of Gods more, but I've only literally read 1 book, so I can't really say much. but I will for sure be reading them soon. Rena Kent's books are kind of books I read as like palette cleansers or when I'm going into a slump. So I've just been waiting to like have the itch to read it again. The Everseas by LJ Andrews, I probably will eventually. I'm in no rush. It's a maybe right now. I was intrigued, but I did find myself kind of being like, okay, like, come on, let's get this book over with, you know? So as of right now, I don't have any pull to continue, but I do want to keep an open mind for it. Maybe try to read it again in the future and then continue the series because I've heard nothing but good things. So maybe it was just I read it at the wrong time. Then I have The Hunted by Ivy Smoke. This is another maybe. I don't really know. The first book was like fine. It was a good time. I don't know if I'm like invested enough yet to read the entire story. So I think maybe if it just like comes up on a random generator or if it's recommended to me on my Kindle or something, I'll read it. But right now I'm kind of like not going to go out of my way to read it. I believe it was a professor student. I don't know if they're all professor students. I don't even know if they're like interconnected standalones. Let me see. Oh, I don't feel like looking it up right now, for being honest. I don't want to make this any longer, but I don't know if they're interconnected or if they all follow the same couple, but regardless, I just haven't had, like, I'm not in the mood currently to continue it, but I will probably at some point. Jurassic Adventures by Victor Zarkov. I literally read this randomly one day because I was trying to get over, like, my Jurassic Park fixation, and I didn't have the second book of Jurassic Park yet at the time. So I saw that, like, on Kindle, and I was like, oh my god, like, it's a short little fun book, like, let's read it. And I ended up loving it, so I definitely want to read the second book. I read this, I think, like last month, so I have some time, but I probably will read it soon for sure. Then we have Jacksonville Rays by Emily Rath. I just read this in that Booktubers Choose My Books video last month, and I just got the other two in the mail, so I for sure will be continuing this. This is a hockey romance. This one's a why choose. I think the second one is just like a normal romance, and then I think the third one is another why choose, if I remember correctly. Interconnected, I think, so I don't think it has to necessarily be read in order, but I always say that for, even if they're interconnected standalones, I feel like they should be read in order because it helps you kind of understand everything going on with the plot. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I don't know if I'm going to continue this series, to be honest, because a lot of people said that if you liked the first one, to just like pretend it's a standalone, because the second one is kind of like a second chance. The second chances have to be done a certain way for me to enjoy it, so I might just like in my head keep this as a standalone, but we'll see. I might change my mind in the future and read the second one, but as of right now, I think I'm just gonna like keep it as this one. Like, I don't have any interest in reading the second one currently. Like, this one ended very sweet and happy to me. I don't really feel like tainting the memories of like this book if they do like break up and then get back together, and then, you know what I mean? Lightlark by Alex Astor, I will be continuing reluctantly. I think like the first 40 to 50% as I was reading this, I was like, okay, like I don't want to read this. Like, I don't care to continue the series. It's not my vibe. Like, it's not my vibe, you know? Then I got to like the last 30-40% and I was like, damn, I think I need to continue the series. So I will be continuing it, honestly, just because I'm invested in where this romance is going, because I was so sure that the romance was going a certain way, and then now it feels like it's going a completely different way, and I'm so confused and I need answers. So I will be continuing. Reluctantly. If He Had Been With Me, I am not continuing the series. This was a good book. I enjoyed it. This was another book I read at the very beginning, like in 2023, when I was getting back into reading. So maybe that's why I liked it, because apparently a lot of people don't like it. But I refuse to read the second one because it's pretty much the same book but from his POV, and I just don't need my heart ripped out a second time, honestly. This book broke me. I cried and I was like, I don't want to read it again. So again, I'm considering this a standalone, and that's it. Magnolia freaking Parks, yes, 100% I will be continuing this. This has consumed my every thought since I have finished it. I do have a video coming out soon, or maybe it's already out. I don't know. I've pre-recorded like 4 videos, okay? So I don't know in the order of like which these videos are coming out. I haven't decided that yet. So this will be reading popular book talk books or whatever I decide to name it. So if you haven't seen it, watch it or stay tuned for it. But this book destroyed me, but in the best possible way. And the others came in the mail recently, so I cannot wait to continue. And I'm thinking about doing a reading vlog reading these, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet, so so good. This is definitely going to be like a 6-star series, I think, for me. Lady of Darkness. I probably will eventually continue it. This is another one where I kept going back and forth as I was reading it, where I was like, okay, I like this. Okay, I don't think I care about this. Okay, I really like this. You know what I mean? Like, I kept going back and forth. But now that like I'm sitting here thinking about it, I actually don't remember how it ended at all. I feel like that's not a good sign, but I always see like everybody on booktube and book talk rave about this series, and I just want to be included, so I'm probably going to continue it against my will because I don't want FOMO. Then we have Pucking Wrong. So the first one is the Pucking Wrong number, and then I think it's like the Pucking Wrong guy, the Pucking Wrong, I don't know, oh, the Pucking Wrong date, Pucking Wrong man, Pucking Wrong rookie, Pucking Wrong Christmas, like they just keep going. I really enjoyed this. This was another like good one that is, I feel like, good for palette cleansing and stuff like that, because there's not much depth to it, but it's a fun time. So I will be continuing just as like palette cleansers. Like whenever I'm like, oh, I don't really know what to read, I'll probably pick up like the next book. I'm pretty sure I stopped telling you about any of these books, so I'm really sorry, but I'm pretty sure I've literally been recording for like 2 hours now. So Rules of the Game by Avery Quillan. I probably will continue this. I've only read the first book. I really enjoyed it, actually, a lot more than I thought I would, so I for sure will be continuing. I don't know when or why I haven't yet. I did read this one very recently, I think in the last month, so again, I have a little bit of like leeway as to why I haven't continued that one yet. So this one I'm a little confused about because I honestly didn't even realize it was a series, and then when I looked it up on Goodreads, it's like got 2 different series names, like depending on what you click or whatever. So it's Archer's Voice. This is the Eternal Embers edition, but apparently there's a book about the brother Travis, so I think I do want to read that one because a lot of people say that he has like a big redemption arc. But when you look on Goodreads, there's one where it's this and Travis, and like that's it. But then there's another series that this is in, and then 2 other books that I've literally never heard of. So I don't actually know what the series name is of this, and I don't know if it is even technically a series, but Travis is in this book and he has a book, so I'm going to assume it's like kind of an interconnected standalone type thing. So I included it for the sake of this video. I don't know if I'm going to continue it because I loved this book so much, and well, I probably will because I am curious about Travis's redemption, but as of right now I have no interest in reading it. But if I see it in store or I see it on my Kindle or something and I'm like not sure what to read, then I probably will just get it and read it. So I guess I'll continue it. Yeah, I guess. Then we have Royals and Romance by Sarah Rosh. I probably won't continue this. I picked this up for Christmas time, just to have like a Christmas little book to read. I really liked it. A lot of people said, oh, it's not even a romance, like what a blah, blah, blah. I mean, I agree the romance was more of like a subplot. It's more of like a political romance type thing. But I really liked it and I found it entertaining. I had a good time reading it. I just don't think I care to read anymore because I think each book in the series is going to be like based on a different holiday. And I already have like my Dream Harbor series to kind of fill that satisfaction. So I don't know. Like there's like magic realism and stuff. Like it's entertaining, but I just don't have any interest to currently continue it, I guess. Harlow Sanctum by K.M. Moranova. I'm not reading the second one. I'm sorry. Well, okay, that's a lie. I probably will eventually. As of right now, I just don't think I can handle it because this book destroyed me. I was so sad. Like I was crying, and the second book I'm pretty sure follows a specific person that like I just don't know if I can handle it, honestly. But her writing is really, really like beautiful to me, and I do really like her stories. So I think one day I'll read it. I just don't have like the emotional like capability right now to read it. So as of right now, it's a no, but that probably will change, I think. Two more. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. Then I have Priest. I don't know if that's like the overall name of the series. Oh yeah, okay, Priest series. So I have to read Sinner and Saint. I have this as a maybe because this book honestly was like nothing fantastic to me. It kind of gave me nothing, if we're being honest. Like in the moment I was like, oh my god, this is crazy, but the more I thought of it, I was like, okay, kind of like there was really nothing to it besides just a priest and this girl, and like that's it, you know. But a lot of people do say that Sinner and Saint are 10 times better, so I probably will read it, I guess, at some point. I just don't have any interest currently. And lastly, Hades and Persephone by Scarlett St. Clair. I will eventually continue this. I just The thing is, a lot of people say that they like this series more than Neon Gods, but I personally think I like the whole like Dark Olympus Neon Gods series more because I like that each book kind of follows different people, whereas this whole series I'm pretty sure follows just Hades and Persephone. And I'm the type that, like, if a book follows the same couple for too long, I'm like, I'm over you guys, like, I'm sick of y'all, which is why I'm also nervous about the Addicted series. But I think that's why a lot of people recommend reading the Calloway sisters like in between also, because I can't. I get so sick of the couple, and I don't mean any disrespect by that. And I love Hades and Persephone, and like I love every Hades and Persephone retellings. It's just like, I'm sick of y'all, you know? But it might be amazing, so I will eventually continue it. I think, yeah, I got this at a used bookstore, so I'm probably just gonna wait and see if I can find another one like used somewhere or audiobook it or something. That is it. I'm ending out this video. I'm not saying much more. I'm sorry that I started to get more and more vague by the end of this. If for some reason you have watched until the end of this video, please comment this emoji right here, just because I'm genuinely curious if anybody has stayed till the end, and I really just am curious if even one person stayed, honestly. So comment that emoji and let me know. And if there are any of these series that I said I didn't plan on continuing and you think I should, then please let me know. Convince me. Change my mind. So that is it. I'm done yapping. Subscribe, thumbs up. See you guys next week. Bye.